Hello, everyone. Of January 2023, and I'm continuing my series Daily Reality with Alex. I'm already back from Austria, so I'm very eager to start the new year. Today is my first working day. I have a lot of new energy, and this rejuvenational process, it starts in a sense subconsciously. We as human beings even don't understand why we are recharged, why things are with much more energy, from where we have collected all this energy. It is made subconsciously, but the beautiful thing is that actually I'm much more rejuvenated. In the last 9 days, I had 100% different data streams every day, and now I'm back in my house, and here everything is now totally familiar. I feel the coziness, I feel the comfort, and so on and so on. So I'm back to my normal routine daily reality. But of course, I liked very much what I was speaking about yesterday, and the connection was not so good. So many of you maybe haven't watched the video or the live stream from yesterday, the 1st of January 2023. But for me personally, it was very interesting. And I was speaking about the raw reality. More and more we are opening ourselves to accept reality as it is and not as how we want it to be. More and more we see 100% new things that we've never even thought about. And I'm going to give you right now one example. Yesterday I was speaking about how reality is actually like a womb, and how all of us are surrounded in a universe, and we think sometimes in our mind that we are the one that are going to transform, to reincarnate, and reality is going to stay the same, but we are the ones that are going to go through a lot of cycles. But actually, because now we are going into a new cycle of 2023, and for me this is a thought that is coming little by little, and I'm starting to implement it into my personal reality. And actually more and more I'm understanding that it is me that is transforming, and long term we are preparing ourselves for living into quite new and different environment after we are exiting here this planet. And why it's so important to have direction, to have focus, but also to have a very big long-term strategy. Did you know that a lot of the builders in the past, when they start building cathedrals or different building projects, that was 200, 300, 400 years project, and the architect that is starting a project, he knows that this is going to be for 400 or more years. When we are building our life, are we building it only for the moment? Are we building it only till we exit this reality in this specific earthly experience? Or are we building every step of our life in a sense that it is going to give us long-term, eternal, and 500 years or 1,000 years or 1 million years asset? No, Alex, it is 100% impossible. We to think in this way. We are here for so little time, so we need to exploit everything. We are to exhaust every possibility out of this reality. We are in a hurry. It's 2023. People are saying about 2030. We don't know what is going to happen. There are great resets. There are so many cycles. We don't know what is going to happen with 2023. Maybe it is going to be a year where it's going to have a lot of negatives in it. So we are so much in a hurry to go after the next moment. We don't have time to focus, to plan, to strategize long term for things that we are to move today, that are going to affect the future of humanity, the future of ourselves, and we are short-term minded people. Anyhow, this is a very small thing. I was just willing to mention it, and I want to speak today about the desire and how are the desires developing within us, because there are two things which are important, and that's why I'm linking yesterday topic on the 1st of January about the raw reality, because raw reality is important based on a daily question that we are to ask ourselves. What do I see? This is the fundamental question that is opening our mind, that is opening our primary eye. What do I see? Every morning, start with this. During the day, always ask yourself, what do I see? Do you see only the visible world? Do you see only the world of effects? Or do you see the causalities? Do you see what is happening behind the scene? Do you see the things that are revealed before us in every moment in the world of effects that are causes because of 10, 20, 50 years ago, because of centuries ago, and now they're revealed before us? What do we see? It's a very good and beautiful question. And the second question that usually we, the human beings, are constantly in necessity daily to ask ourselves is, what do I want? Because this is a question that is giving us the answer to where we are putting our intent and what are we exactly collapsing into the realm of probability, and based on all this quantum mechanics, and we are integral part of reality, and we are constantly in interaction with reality. So it's very important to have clear, focused desires. And then there are a lot of levels in this desire exploration, and I know Kabbalah is speaking a little bit about this. I'm not endorsing it, but at least from the different types of teachings and different types of the way how people are understanding from the perspective of reality, it is interesting for me, because I want to understand why these people are so interested in desire, and why these people in Kabbalah are so interested in the ego. And you know, there is also the tree of life there, and how a special vehicle is formed out from the invisible part of the human being, and so on and so on. Who is willing to know about this way of thinking, he can go into the internet. There is a lot of things about this, but for me the most important thing is about the developing of my personal desire, and to always monitor my vibrational power and how my internal desires are rising, to which direction, how they are connected and interconnected, and how my desires are coming closer and closer to the so-called will of God, to the external objective desire that is an external intent that is able to absorb and to support all our personal intents and desires. And that's why it's very important to know for all of us that it is okay, our primary desires that are coming from our lowest level of nature, because we are born as on which, and there are so many layers of us as a human being and experience. But I was willing to speak about the lower part of the desire, where we want to take out of reality, where we want immediately the instant gratification. Usually it is labeled as lust. Lust is when I want immediately everything for me. Yes, it is very primary. With some people, it is something that is creating then greed, and out of this lust, if you are not able to control yourself and to go into self-discipline, this is something with which, when we are dealing with this, it is part of our basic carnal and physical materiality part of nature, it is okay to know that we have it, but also to know that there are much more levels of desires that are much more interesting and giving much more bigger, impactful and long-term effects into the reality. Because the first level of desire, where it's the lust, it is going to give instant gratification, but only to me, one part of reality. It is not going to be beneficial for all, because I'm taking out and then I'm creating additional causes, and it is going to cost me. There is no lust that is not costing you after a while something. So it's very important to know the two things. What do I see? Where we are to monitor very strongly our perception, our conditioning, and how we are able to open ourselves and be more open-minded in order to see more of the raw reality, more of the unconditioned part of reality. It is the same with desire. With desire, we are starting with what I want, and long term, we are creating more burning desires that are more lasting. And this type of burning desire, with it comes motivation. With this type of burning desire comes much more commitment. Then we are much more involved with the mind, with the heart, and life becomes much more interesting. Passion is coming after this, but it is still part of the selfish expression of the I. Long term, we are to build up these levels of desire and to come to the questions, what I want, and then additionally, immediately to put the second question, why do I want this? I'll give you a personal example. Because I'm a ruling reality coach and I'm strongly involved into interacting with reality, I have fixed two big things in my reality. One of the things is 100 houses before 2030, because the one of the probability that is being proposed to me is to go into 2030 to have nothing and to be happy. But I prefer in 2030 to have and to own 100 houses, to have a lot, to have an excess, to be happy, and still not to be owned by what I have. So I'm just challenging myself much more than what is offered to me from the World Economic Forum. So for me, I'm creating a different type of reality, and I'm opening a flow where I'm experiencing a different experience. So on the first level, some of you can say, well, Alex, this type of 100 houses, it's a totally wasteful thing, because you're just willing it for yourself. It is not creating anything about the humanity. And what is the meaning of owning? You are not able to live in one place in one specific day. This is the maximum you can live. So what are you going to do with all this excess? So I'm building our family portfolio. In the moment, we have 10 houses, and I'm building the portfolio with much more Airbnb and places in Dominican Republic, 2 places on the beach, in Punta Cana, and the other one is in Las Terrenas, very good and beautiful locations. Then now we are trying to start something in some other places, and we have very good top locations into Greece, and we are creating a lot of value for the people that are coming there and resting in the places that I have been a part of creating for all these people that are coming to have their experiences, to enjoy the context that I have been placed for them even before they knew that they're able to come into this place. And in my big vision of 100 houses, actually, I'm going to help at least 99 families for those that are short-term, long-term rentals, for some of these type of families, to have their realities and to experience their realities into houses that I'm designing together with architects, where they can feel new environment, where they can feel new vibe, and where they can encourage all this environment to encourage people to really dream big, to be into a probability state. So I want to create houses which are really vibrant and are helping entrepreneurs and are helping rich people to even have much more time to dream big and to know that their house and their environment is taken care for from me. So now I'm going deeper into my desire. And of course, I'm creating a passive income. I'm creating additional quadrant 4 of reality experiences where I'm expressing myself. And this is creating additional money flows for me, and so on and so on. But long term, all these things are invested into more of the different flows that I'm creating. And long term, I'm creating happiness and beautiful experiences for the people that are going to be renting these houses. Now you see how my desire from a typical egoistic type of desire has grown and is growing constantly within me and within my reality. And I'm now part of creating value for people that even still today don't know that they're going to be renting beautiful and full with energy houses where they are going to experience very beautiful moments, because there was someone like me that have put a lot of efforts into creating this and putting it into the future in their reality so that they can experience it. They will never know that there was maybe some things that were happening in my head. Then to reality, maybe more than 100 or 200 people are going to be involved, so that one day they are just going, renting and experiencing something. And there was so much energy that was going before this, behind the scene, in order they to have their new beautiful realities in the future. So what I want, when you have different desires and specific intents about something, to start thinking also about the why. The problem with the why is that we understand usually the answer after the desire is already fulfilled or it's manifested in reality. And that's why we are to know and to learn how to make dream storming, to go into the future, to see everything already created, to see who is going to use it, to see and understand their feelings. And after this, we were able to understand, wow, we are creating value, and this value is actually able to answer me the question why I'm putting such type of desire into the future. But Alex, aren't we just to have spiritual desires, some type of desires where there is nothing concrete, and we're just saying, well, I want to show more love to the people, and I want the world to be much more brighter space? Yes, with my specific 100 houses desire, I'm doing the same thing, but I'm specifically putting it as a fixed intent into the physical matter reality, and little by little it is being revealed for me. And the first houses that we are going to build in the beginning of next 2-3 months are going to come into existence. And then we are going to see all the process, how it's working. Then another 3 are under preparation. Then we are speaking about other projects. So all of this is one of the flows that I'm creating into my reality. And meanwhile, I'm working with all these processes of how desire is evolving inside of me and is becoming something bigger, and long-term from passion, even we are going even 1 degree further into the reality of manifestation and collapsing of the wave. And this is coming to from passion to compassion. Now I can start feeling the people that are going to live there. Now I start enjoying the new reality that is going to be created for them. And after this, the big letter C and the big long-term thing that we are in necessity to be involved in through the desires that we are creating. It doesn't matter what type of reality is. This is how we are to analyze, to synthesize, and to answer for ourselves. The questions are, what is the long-term care that we have put into the physical materiality that we are willing to be opened to flourish, so that people can see that they are cared for long term. And isn't it beautiful when in 2 years or 3 years some person enters a new reality for him in a new context, and he feels that with every detail he feels that he's been cared for from from reality, for example. And then there is a beautiful thing into developing these layers of the desire that long term we even don't understand how it's happening, but once we start boldly to wish, boldly to dream, boldly to go into our imagination and to put specific desires that are going to stretch us, to stretch our ego. A lot of people are sometimes asking me, Alex, why are you doing some of the things? And for sure, I'm not doing them for me. I'm just doing them because I'm practicing and it helps me grow. And also, I'm enjoying seeing how long term, with the flows that I'm creating into the physical matter reality, things are appearing, they are allowed to exist, and it just shows me that I'm correctly aligning my limitless being with everything that is in the construct of reality. And especially I'm aligning myself with my creator, and I'm able to go deeper into collaboration, interaction, and long-term position myself as servant in this reality. I'm not more and longer a taker. I'm not into the stage of egoism and lust where I'm willing to take away from reality. I'm more and more positioning myself as someone that is caring and someone that is putting all of his efforts into being a servant, someone that is giving himself away. So this is a small part that I was willing to share today, is to never be afraid of your desires. And some people are saying, well, but Alex, if I desire something and I think that it is very egoistic, so maybe I stop and I'm going to become like all these typical Buddhists or Eastern type of people, and I'm just going to stop desiring. I don't want anything in life. I don't want to even think about material things. I'm just going to stay in a Zen state, and I'm just going to be empty, and I just don't want to interact with anything. I am a person that is going to go through life, and I'm going to go through reality without never being able to express a specific desire, because this is something that is wrong. This is something that is impossible for a human being to develop out of a small, even if it's in the beginning, egoistic desire. By growing and by understanding and by connecting, to grow it into long-term care for society, care for others, and then This is becoming part of how we as human beings are able long-term to express ourselves and to express our love for all of us that are surrounded with each other. And then we are creating a much more beautiful, objective reality. So this is my encouragement for all of you today. Enjoy being both into desiring, into going into burning desire, into not being able to sleep because you are strongly wishing something to happen, and then continue to ask the question, why do I want it? How I can be of a help? How this is going to be of value for others? And little by little, it is going to be formed into what is meant to be formed. It's not necessary from the beginning you to have the pure, more beautiful and wonderful desire. Little by little, if we as human beings are able and willing to open ourselves and to dare to ask, to dare to want, then it can become also a beautiful thing. We are not beings that are created to not want, to just stay in this reality like passive beings, just to go and to say, no, I will never want anything, I will never require something, and I don't want anything for myself. I don't want anything for the others. I just don't want. So this is my message for you today. Dare to want. It is part of how reality is willing to interact with us. And of course, there is a lot of work that should be done. There is a lot of internal integration. That's why I have created my program, Ruling Reality Basics. It's a 1-month program. If somebody is interested, you can DM me, you can contact me in LinkedIn, in Facebook, and I can share with you so many things about how reality is actually working and why we are to be positioned as rulers of our own reality. And actually, from this place of rulers of our own reality, then everything else in life starts to take its own place. Bye bye for now, and enjoy the beginning of the new year. Bye bye.